and Merry Christmas, and welcome to the holiday special version of Animation Triad. Thank you, yes. Once again, I am your host for this delightful evening. My name is Stu, and with me, as usual, is...
Hello, folks. How are you? Are you enjoying this December? My name is Will, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Or if that's not up your avenue and you are going to be a stickler about it, Happy Holidays.
Yes. Or Kwanzaa, or whatever. I mean, Festival of Lights. Is that around this time?
Maybe?
I'm not 100% sure. The person we could ask about that, unfortunately, isn't with us. And I am sad to say, our good friend Alex is not with us today.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
Not yet.
Well, I mean, we haven't planned for that far in advance, but I mean...
You haven't?
What? No, what?
Nothing.
No, okay.
So yes, unfortunately Alex couldn't make it today, so we raised our glasses to him, and I'd pour one out for him, but unfortunately I don't waste tea.
And I don't want to stain your floors.
You wouldn't do much to him.
Well, I'm pretty sure they've been through worse, but, I mean...
God knows.
I'm your guest.
I appreciate that, and that would be rude, so thank you.
No problem.
But what are we talking about today?
Well, I mean, it's your episode today.
You're right, it is. How silly of me.
I should be asking the question.
It was rhetorical.
Oh.
Yes, thank you. Spoilers.
So, Stu, what are we talking about today?
Thank you for the setup and a wonderful segue. Hey, being in the holiday season, I thought we'd talk about a little something special, I don't know, maybe the Nutcracker Prince.
Ooh.
Yes, folks, today we are talking about the beloved ballet. No, we're talking about an animated film here, folks.
Based on the play, The Nutcracker Suite.
Well, technically speaking, it's more related to the story. Based off of The Nutcracker and the Mouse King by E.T.A. Hoffman.
E.T.A. Hoffman.
Yes, I believe Hoffmann, so Hoffman.
Or
yeah.
Hoffman.
Hoffman, if you want to put the accent at the right syllable.
Yes.
Yes. This is a film from 1990, from Lakewood Productions.
Lakewood Productions?
Yes, they're not exactly very famous, I guess. I mean, it's a Canadian company.
Yeah.
This was released with the help of Warner Brothers at the time.
Oh, okay.
1990. They're most famous for working on animation for the Raccoons. Vaguely familiar with, I mean, I've never seen an episode, but I've seen the art.
Okay.
It's from the 80s.
Yeah,
Canadian television.
Okay, yeah.
All right, they also did, Blue Toes the Christmas Elf. Weird Christmas movie, which, oddly enough, Vincent Price is a voice in it. Oh, and the guy who played, Montana Max from, Tiny Toons.
I've got his name up right here. It is Danny Cooksey.
Yeah, he was also in, what else was he? He was in Salute Your Shorts, wasn't he? That, Nickelodeon show.
Was he?
I think that was him, wasn't it?
Well, actually, he's going... Well, okay, hang on a sec. Bear with me, folks.
Technical difficulties and all.
He was in the Ren and Stimpy show.
That doesn't surprise me, because he his voice being on there.
Okay. Another show he was in, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of Nick actors. That had so many different crossovers with other Nick actors going into it.
Yeah. Here's a good one. He was in Hey Arnold. He's Stoop Kid.
You're right! He even looks like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you really think about it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in Salute Your Shorts, wasn't he? He was in Told by Ginger. Could be early.
Oh, yeah. I just saw it. Yeah, here it is. Salute Your Shorts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Robert Bobby Budnick.
Yep. Played an asshole.
Well, I mean, Montana Max is also an asshole, too, so...
Well, that's what he generally plays. But yeah, we're getting besides ourselves. The production company is also famous for working on, well, mostly Christmas stuff, in all honesty. And they also did quite a bit of, maybe 4 or 5 episodes of Peter Pan and the Pirates.
Oh.
Which, actually, a pretty good animated series.
Yeah.
Tim Curry played Captain Hook in that one.
Yes, he did.
That was good.
Oh.
Yeah, Tim Curry.
God, I love him.
Oh, who doesn't? But yes, this film was actually directed by Paul
Shibley.
Shibley. That's how we're gonna pronounce it. We're not 100% sure on it, and if we're butchering it, I do apologize. I don't know if you're listening, and you probably aren't, but we're gonna try and be polite about it, Paul.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, he's famous for, as I said, mostly just Christmas specials, oddly enough. He did some art direction for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, oddly enough.
Okay, yeah.
He did a lot of Christmas specials with the raccoon characters, I told you about that cartoon. But this was his, I think, one of his big films, and it was actually the first big film for this studio.
Okay, big production.
Yeah, this was their first big one.
Okay, cool.
And
cool.
In all honesty, it's... Well, what did you think of it?
Okay, well, I don't think we really need to go into the story because it is...
It's the Nutcracker Prince, folks. I mean, you are bombarded by this almost every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's little girl with her family at Christmas, meets up with her uncle, Drosselmeyer. Yeah, air quotes right there, big time, because it's never really explained how he's related to them.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's not, which I will touch on later because I just find I like Drosselmeyer. I really like the character. He's okay in this film.
Yeah.
But I just like the character of Drosselmeyer. He's very interesting when you really read into him and the different interpretations he's had.
Yeah.
He gives her a Nutcracker, and she's like, "This is the best thing ever," because it was before video games and before action figures and Barbies and shit like that.
Sad times, really.
You know, yes, the dark ages. But and then during the night, it comes to life and is attacked by a giant rat king.
Yeah.
And hijinks ensue, and then she goes to the land of the dolls and sugar plum fairies and all that fun stuff and music and dancing, and then it was all a dream, or was it, type of thing. We'll blow this a bit more later. We'll just talk about the unique stuff that this film presents. The story is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's, in all honesty, the story is it's not that different from the play itself.
Or the ballet as well.
The ballet, sorry.
And the music itself is taken directly from the ballet by
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, which I always butcher his name.
And in this film, the music is performed by the London Symphony Orchestra.
Which does a really good job. The music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean,
you cannot go wrong with that group. They are just the best of the best.
That's why you go to them. I mean...
Yeah.
Well, what was it you were saying that the Prague Orchestra from Star Wars Clone Wars?
Prague Orchestra. That.
About Ahsoka's theme.
Just a quick little side note. If you haven't seen my Clone Wars episode, pause, listen to it, come back. Okay, you up to speed? Good. Yeah, Kevin Kiner, the composer for Clone Wars, went to Prague, or Prague, or however you pronounce it.
I always thought it was Prague. I always heard it, I mean, then again, I'm not from there, so I don't know.
And basically hired an orchestra to play the final piece of music you will hear in the final episode. And it's... He used his own money to do it, and that'd take some serious dedication.
Oh yeah, that's money right there.
Yeah.
You gotta... But yes, back to this. London Orchestra, phenomenal job, really. But I mean, let's talk about the animation a bit.
Okay, yes.
The animation is at times a little, I wouldn't say janky or anything.
A bit. I would say that
they have a problem with female noses.
Kinda.
I mean, seriously, the main character Clara.
Yeah.
Her nose disappears every so often when she turns her head slightly. It's a weird... Because it's an odd way the animation does. I mean, everyone else has got pretty defined noses. Her nose just seems like to disappear in an instant.
She's got that old phantom nose going on.
Yeah. But let's talk about Clara a little bit, because...
okay. So while we were watching this film, I brought up something to Stuart. So... we're all fans of gargoyles, right?
Mhm.
If you take a look at Clara and have it side by side with a picture of Demona in her human form, they look nearly identical.
It's weird because there's no. I don't think there's any in terms of the artists.
Yeah.
The art companies that worked on them, they're not related at all.
Well, the art companies that worked on the animation companies that worked on Gargoyles are all located in Japan.
Yeah, this was animated in Canada.
This is animated in Canada, and was animated before Gargoyles, right?
Yeah, this was 90. This came out in 1990. Exactly.
1990, yeah, because Gargoyles came out like 4 to 5 years later.
Yeah.
So it's eerie to watch this girl who has a face that looks just like human Demona. I mean, seriously, watch the film, then have a picture of Demona right next to the TV and be like, huh, oh.
Yeah. Oh, I think the best moment was when we paused the film at the perfect moment. I'm gonna try and get a still image of this because this was hilarious. It's a picture of Clara by the family Christmas tree with a candle, and the look on her face is pure. I'm gonna burn this. I'm gonna just burn it all down.
I'm gonna burn this tree because she's got that kind of knowing smirk and half-lidded eyes that say, "I'm an arsonist."
Oh my! It was hilarious. Throughout the rest of the film, we're just cracking these arson jokes and just like, "I am the avatar of the flame.
Fire calls to me."
It makes the film so much better.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird little frame moments where you find the perfect moment and you pause it and it's just you get this weird like transitional face on characters in the animation. It's so weird sometimes.
Yeah. But back to the animation itself.
It's pretty good, I will say.
It is really good. But there is a section where Drosselmeyer is talking to Clara and telling her the story of the Nutcracker, how it came to be.
Which, oddly enough, was very true to the story, except for two little things that I think a lot of productions tend to leave out. One being the Mouse King.
Yes.
Now, the Mouse King, in almost every version I've seen, has always just been, regular old mouse, kind of larger, with a sword and all that stuff. In the original story, the Mouse King had 7 heads.
That's awesome. Why was that not in this production?
Budget, I guess. I don't know. That would have been really cool, but just really weird, too. A 7-headed... I mean, that's like something out of, what was it? I'm thinking like, not Old Testament,
Greek?
No.
Hydra?
No. Well, Hydra does spring to mind.
Oh.
But I'm thinking more of the, Revelations.
The Beast?
The Beast, yes. And wasn't there something about the number of heads it had?
It had, like... I want to say it did have, like, 7 heads, and, like... It was, like... It had, like, 7 horns on 5 heads.
7 horns and 5 heads, was it?
I think so.
But then again, isn't 7 considered, like, a holy number?
Kinda.
7 days of the week and all this... seraphims are supposed to have, 7 wings.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was odd, like, it's such an odd number.
Or was it rings?
Was it rings? I gotta admit, my memories of Revelations are a little foggy.
My knowledge of Revelations all come from Final Fantasy VII.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, that's... We're having too much fun with this.
Sorry,
but
folks.
Yeah, it's okay. So, another thing they leave out is, the princess in the story gets cursed by the Rat Queen.
Yeah. And
in this cartoon version, she basically turns into, like, a froggy-looking girl.
She got fugly.
Oh, big time. Ugly, like, pimply skin and all this. In the actual story, though, her head swells to an enormous size.
Whoa. And
her face is contorted into this hideous, like, hollow grin.
Oh.
So, I mean, like, jack-o'-lantern looking.
Whoa. Yeah. That's awesome.
It was kind of neat in the story. But, other than that, they actually are really spot on. But the animation style that takes place during this is very jarring because everything up until that point is a very soft,
very, very
elegant almost.
Yeah. And when you get to the storytelling section, there's this shift in not just animation but modeling as well.
Oh, and just everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the tone of the entire thing takes on this really cartoony. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of that Cartoon Network series from the early '90s. I'd say. Two Stupid Dogs.
Okay, yeah,
or like they had that Secret Squirrel redone version of it.
Oh yeah.
It was very kind of, I don't want to say cheap because I don't know how much that type of animation would cost, but it just didn't fit in with it. It was very jarring, and I personally would have liked to seen like storybook mode version of it, like kind of a bit more regal look. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I would say that if they wanted to like keep it animated and have the characters move, I would have liked to have seen some sort of like Rankin Bass animation style, like The Hobbit, because it's technically a fairy tale, right?
Sure. Oh, it is. It is a straight up fairy tale.
I would say like have like not so much like. I don't know. I would say like have it be more like a little more the opposite way of how it went. Like instead of making it more cartoony, make it more elegant looking.
You know what? I think that would have been a really good way of going about it.
Yeah.
But there is one other thing I got to bring up.
What's that?
The Rat Queen.
Oh yes, please tell me.
Okay, so when we were watching it, you were trying to figure out who that voice was.
I don't know her name, but I know one role she plays, and that is the Ant Queen in A Bug's Life.
Very true.
And I got it because of her laugh.
Oh yeah.
It's very iconic.
Oh yes, because it's Phyllis Diller.
That's it!
Yes, Phyllis Diller, the comedian.
That's
the late, great Phyllis Diller. She was hilarious. Very good at self-deprecation, and gosh, she had a mouth on her sometimes. Oh, the things she'd say.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, she was funny. You know, interestingly enough, I will say this. She's in another animated film from the 90s, which I remember, Ever After.
Ever After.
It's not a very well-known one. Basically, it is a sequel of sorts to Sleeping Beauty. No, not Sleeping Beauty. Snow White.
Oh, okay.
Very weird film. Huge voice. The voice cast is like so many people.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too much into it because I actually want to do a video on it.
Yeah.
I want to make it a future episode because it's such a weird, bloody film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was part of a series of sequels to famous fairy tales.
Okay.
There's another one. Give me a second. I actually have the VHS over here. I remember seeing this movie in the
Don't worry, folks. I'm still here.
Yes. Okay, so there was when I was a little kid, they had these the movie rental places. And I remember going through them and seeing like these weird animated films, which I never got up the courage to just check out because I was just like, it just seemed too weird.
Yeah.
For me at the time.
Well,
but there was one that always stood out, and it was this really dark and red with kind of odd-looking animals and stuff on it, and it was Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night.
Whoa! What?
And, yeah, it's by the same company, and
really.
Yeah, it's Don Knotts is in it.
Really?
Holy crud, I didn't.
Huh.
Ooh. It's got some good voice actors in it, actually.
And you're not going to tell me what?
Oh no, because that would spoil the fun.
Son of a.
So we're gonna have to watch that eventually.
Oh
man.
yeah.
But yeah, they did Pinocchio, the Emperor of the Night, which I gotta admit looks freaking creepy.
Yeah.
They did Ever After, and I think they did one or two other ones. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I do know that they couldn't get the rights to say Snow White Ever After because Disney slapped a lawsuit on them.
Yeah.
And they actually had to go through and change the titles for these. Ever After actually had a video game adaptation, oddly enough.
Really?
Surprisingly, yeah.
Huh.
But back to this film.
Yeah.
Well, what to say about it? It's a pretty decent little Christmas type
I would
movie.
also say that it's relatively faithful to the original ballet itself, with some noticeable changes, such as the curse, um, the didn't you say that when Clara?
Oh,
First
during the
knocked-
first night.
Yeah, yeah.
During the first night, she saves the Nutcracker Prince from the Rat King by throwing her shoe at the Rat
Slipper,
King.
yeah.
Slipper, yeah. And then she basically, if I remember correctly from the original story, she falls and breaks the glass of the
Grandfather clock.
not the grandfather clock, because
Oh.
in the original version it was she broke the glass door to the toy cabinet,
Oh, okay.
and she cut her arm.
Ugh.
Yeah. In the movie version,
Yeah.
she falls backwards into the grandfather clocks and smacks her head through the glass plate.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that seems like it would potentially kill you.
Yeah, because spoiler alert, she lives,
Mm.
but
Or does she? Maybe this is all just her imagining this as she bleeds out with the grandfather clock gears stuck in her
okay.
head.
No. This is her in a coma.
Yes, there we go. It's the Saint Elsewhere of cartoons.
Yeah. But yeah, she falls into the grandfather clock, breaks the glass with her noggin,
Yeah.
and miraculously lives, while she should, by rights, have a shard of glass stuck underneath her skull, right at the base of it.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's...
Oh, there is one other thing. Talking about moments
Ooh.
in the storytelling part of it,
Yeah.
where they have all the suitors for the princess trying to break
Oh,
the curse.
yeah.
They have to break the curse. A young man, a man who has never worn boots. Now, this is also another thing that they changed. In the original story, it was a young man who's never shaved and has never worn boots.
Yeah.
Has to crack a nut with his teeth and feed it to the princess.
Yeah.
And in this version, all the people who try to break the nut with their teeth have their teeth shatter.
And it's not like they shatter and then fall out. No, there are still some
Shards,
teeth.
And it's actually kind of painful to watch a little bit.
Trust me, folks, if you have, like, teeth problems where you have, like, chipped a tooth or something, this will bring up some bad memories.
If you have ever seen the film Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman,
Ooh.
and you have a problem with dentists,
Ooh.
don't watch this scene. It's like cringeworthy.
Or you have a problem with Steve Martin.
Steve Martin?
Little Shop of
Oh
Horrors.
God, I forgot about.
He's the dentist.
I forgot. You know what? I
What?
love that movie. I have an odd relation with Steve Martin.
Really?
I like him in some films.
Yeah.
But I did not like him in that version.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I can see why people like him for that one, but I saw when I was younger, I went to a production of it.
Yeah.
And the guy they had play him, thinking back, in all honesty, he reminded me of Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Yeah, the guy was almost a dead ringer for Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird.
Ooh.
And he played the dentist.
Yeah.
I have the soundtrack somewhere, because I bought the CD.
Yeah.
When I went to it. And the guy's a phenomenal singer. The guy was by far one of the best singers in the entire show.
You're gonna find that CD and find out that it was Bruce Campbell.
I hope to God it was, because I couldn't, because the audio, the way they put it on there, it doesn't list who sings.
Ah.
It was a bad copy, unfortunately. They didn't do the CD properly.
Son of a.
But it kind of spoiled. I mean, because I saw that production and then I saw the movie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like,
I just like the other guy a lot more.
Yeah, I do. I mean, maybe it's because when I saw it, it just left such an impression on me. It's the first time you see it. So maybe if I'd seen it in reverse, I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
But still, that's one of my favorite musicals.
Feed me Seymour.
Feed me all night long. It's also the dentist song is my default for auditions.
Oh.
When I have to do musicals.
Nice.
I actually went out and bought the sheet music for it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I got it around here somewhere.
Cool.
It's good, yeah. But back on topic. So, speaking of, like, famous people, who else is in this besides Phyllis Diller?
Well, I mean, you wanted to keep it a secret, but then you paused the video.
At the wrong spot?
Yeah.
Let's talk
Lady...
about that.
Okay, there's a character called Pantaloon,
Mhm.
who is this doll who is based on, like, a old-time
soldier
who is kind of a buffoon, I guess?
I guess, you know, I'm trying to think. His name is Pantaloon.
Yeah.
Is that a play on one of the what's the Italian ones?
I think Pantaloon is the Italian one, yeah?
It is. Pantaloon is, not El Capitano, Harley Quinn and all that. What is I'm blanking on the name of that, Okay, I remember what it is now.
What is it?
It is the, Commedia dell'arte.
Oh!
So you've got, like, what is it? Columbia, I can't remember how to. I'm gonna butcher these names. I'm horrible with pronunciations. Let me just pull up they're stock characters from basically Italian theater.
Okay.
So Harley Quinn is actually one.
Yeah.
Then you have
From DC, people.
Punchinello. El Doctore. Let's see the characters. Arlecchino.
El Dottore.
El Doctore. Yeah, El Dottore. El Capitano. How would you pronounce that?
One sec, folks.
1 second. Pantalone, here we go. Pantalone, this is him. Pantalone is the miser.
Oh, him!
Yes,
okay.
and the funny thing is, he's got like this weird pot belly, but he's also always has a cod piece.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a cod piece is, be careful looking it up, folks.
Yeah, just put the safe search on now.
Yeah, he's a very interesting character.
He's basically this old miserly man who loves money and is kind of sexually active.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Pantaloon, it's an odd choice of name for him with that, because
he is an elderly man, but he's not miserly, nor is he sexually involved, but he is kind of a bumbling buffoon.
Who likes to quote famous lines from Shakespeare and famous lines of dialogue from like history involving battles and stuff.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that makes it really interesting.
What's that?
He's voiced by Peter O'Toole, the late, great Lawrence of Arabia.
You heard it here, folks. Old Larry voiced Pantaloon.
Yep. And this was in the 90s. I think this was right around the time when he was really kind of hard up for cash at the time.
Oh,
I know he ran into some trouble or something, and he was just doing a lot of films to just get by at the time. I actually saw one he was in. He played a villain who thought he was the reincarnation of Prince Herod.
Really?
Yeah, weird film. You know who else was in it, though?
What?
The guy who played Gimli.
John Rhys Davies?
John Rhys Davies had a minor role in it, yeah.
Huh.
I always forget his name for some reason.
Oh, well, just watch Gargoyles.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great actor.
Oh,
but yeah, he was in it as well. But, horrible film. Really, really bad. 3 coins or something. I can't remember. Something coin. It was... I found it for like $1 at a resale shop. I just thought I'd give it a watch.
Okay.
So bad. But yeah, but who voices the Nutcracker Prince?
Who? And does he have 24 hours to do it?
I'll give you 24 guesses.
Oh boy.
Yes, folks, if you haven't guessed it already from the cryptic messages we've been leaving.
24.
Lost Boys.
Ugh.
Well, I like that movie.
Well, okay.
I actually will say this. I actually think that was one of Joel Schumacher's best films.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? The other one was...
A Batman movie.
No, I'm saying his good ones.
Oh.
He actually has directed some decent films. He directed The Wiz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was him. He directed the film adaptation of The Wiz with Michael Jackson and...
Really?
Yeah, that was him.
Huh.
He's also did Lost Boys, as I said.
Yeah.
And he also did... what was that film with Michael Douglas? Falling Down?
I think so.
It's about that guy stuck in traffic. He just snaps and starts going on like walking through the streets, causing all this trouble and stuff.
Ooh.
It's actually a really good film. I mean, it doesn't feel like a Joel Schumacher film at all.
No.
But it's really good. But Kiefer Sutherland is the voice of the Nutcracker Prince.
Hey.
And this is Kiefer Sutherland during the 90s. So he'd have to be, what, in his
30s.
30s or something, I'd say?
I would, like, mid to late 30s.
Mid to late 30s, playing basically a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah. It's a odd choice, and it doesn't really fit.
At all. It really doesn't. And I'm like, unless you really paid attention, you couldn't tell it was him, so I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But it's just it doesn't fit.
No,
it's an older man trying to play a young boy.
Yeah.
And it's creepy.
Odd.
But, yeah, it's not...
Overall, it has very few faults with it, and it's... let's face it, if you're going to watch this film, like, once a year... It's very good.
Yeah, it's not a bad film to watch. The animation is pretty good at times.
Yeah, there are times where it's like a really, really good and well animated film.
The Rat King, during the fight scenes, some of his animation, I am reminded of the Rats of Nim.
Oh.
There were some points where I'm like, wow, this is, the animation was really good for some of these scenes.
Well, one of the moments that really stood out for me is when they're at the doll palace, and the Rat King is there, and, spoiler alert, he's been stabbed through the chest, and he's not doing well.
No.
But he is, like, laboriously going after Clara and swinging his sword, and he's wheezing and gasping, and you can see that in the animation.
Actually, the animation is spot on for this.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's a very tense moment at that point, and it shows.
Yeah. So... we're not really talking much about the film itself. We're just talking about bits and pieces of it, because just go watch the film. It's Christmas. Go watch it. Have a good time with it.
Odds are, if you know the ballet, you will not be too surprised by what happens in this film.
You know, there was one surprising thing, though, which I was kind of surprised with it being a children's film.
What's that?
When the Nutcracker Prince stabs the... Actually, no, they never show it on screen.
They just fall. They just show like the Rat King falling, and he hits the ground.
And then the Nutcracker Prince lands next to him, and he's got a bloody sword.
Yeah,
blood in a children's film. You don't see that too often. Right?
Well, there's also another point where when I mentioned the Rat King going after Clara.
He's got blood all over.
He's got blood where he was stabbed, and
so I mean that's something you don't generally see too often in a lot of children's films.
Right, yeah.
I give him credit for that.
That's... in all honesty, that's something that you kind of look forward to, because it kind of shows that they aren't just pandering to children and oversimplifying it.
This does not... I wouldn't say this film panders to... Well, maybe that one storytelling
Well,
scene.
I mean, you can kind of hand-wave it by saying that it's an older fellow telling a girl a story.
Yes.
And so it is going to be a little bit simplified.
True. So overall, the film is pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as a kid, and watching it now, I still kind of enjoy it for some funny moments and all. But we're not just done yet, folks.
Oh, no.
I want to talk a little bit about the Nutcracker in general.
Oh.
You see, I have an interesting relationship with it.
Oh, how so?
My brother,
my
older brother, was a professional ballet dancer.
Oh.
Yes, he was in the Royal Winnipeg Ballet.
Oh.
So whenever he performed in it, which was every Christmas, we would go see it.
Okay.
So I have seen him in an ungodly amount of productions of the Nutcracker suite.
So you know the story by heart.
I know it very well. And I actually have some very fond memories of it.
Okay.
And I still have a VHS copy of Barishnikov's version of it somewhere.
Okay.
Damn good dancer.
Yeah.
Surprisingly very short guy. But then again, I mean, because...
Well, you kind of need to with what you're doing in ballet.
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
Actually, the whole idea of the size of a dancer is because of Barishnikov.
Oh.
He actually had a big influence on how the size of other dancers should be, because he didn't want to be... he looked so small, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, I mean, I could be wrong about that. That's just what I've heard. But, from an interesting point of view, and I always found this amusing, I remember my brother telling me once that a lot of ballet performers, the dancers and all, they freaking hate the Nutcracker.
Really?
They hate performing it
Really?
because they have to do it every year.
Ah.
Now, in terms of acting,
Yo.
and for us, I mean, we're both actors. We've done stage work and all that.
Yes.
What would you say would be the equivalent?
An easy answer would be Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
It's, even if you don't know Shakespeare that well, you have most likely heard Romeo and Juliet. So it's a very safe play to fall back on.
It's the default. Whenever someone has to do a play in a cartoon or a show, it's almost always Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. But if we're going to talk about, like, Christmas plays, I would say Christmas Carol.
Yeah, definitely. Which, there are some really good animated versions of the Christmas Carol, which we will eventually get to in one of our future episodes.
In due time.
In due time, for Christmas reasons and all that. But, as I mentioned earlier, I always found the character of Drosselmeyer to be very interesting.
How so?
And, well, that's what I'm going to get to. The character isn't really given that much of story.
He's just sort of there, and he's also mysterious.
He is a clockmaker. He tinkers with mechanical things. He has a great respect for it.
And he's also apparently magical.
Yes, he is, because the whole thing starts when Claire goes downstairs and sees Drosselmeyer on top of the clock. Now, in the story, he stops the clock from moving at midnight. Before it touches midnight, he stops the clock. And that's when everything springs to life. Which kind of reminds me of the one of the sequences for Persona 3 with the entrance of the hidden hour.
Okay, yeah.
Which I always love that clock, when the clock stops right at midnight and then shatters, and then you enter the whatever they called it. I can't remember.
Shadow Zone?
No, it wasn't
Midnight
Shadow
Zone. Evil Zone. Dark Dimension. I saw Doctor
The Lost
Strange.
Hour, yeah. But, I always liked that character because there was just something about him that was very mysterious and very interesting. It's a mix of mysticism and mechanics.
Yeah. He's a man of science.
He is.
He's a man of science. He works on mechanical things, but he's a friggin' wizard, too.
And I like that. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Dishonored, because that's a...
Oh, yeah,
The idea of magic mixed with mechanical things is a big theme in that.
Yeah.
But, the one reason I always liked him is because depending on the adaptation you see, his character is slightly different. Because a lot of people have different interpretations of him. Sometimes he's a kindly old man.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a bit more sinister.
Really?
Yes, I actually remember one production when I was younger, and this is the one that sticks in my mind the most.
Yeah.
He comes in, and he's dressed in black. Everyone else is all happy and everything, and he's got this kind of just vibe about him that he doesn't fit in. He seems like an outsider, and everyone's kind of nervous about him, but they welcome him in.
Yeah.
And in some versions, he's basically a creepy old man.
Well,
I mean, he is, like, in one version I remember is he is basically kind of macking on Clara at some point.
Ugh.
Which is kind of creepy.
Really? Kind of?
Just a bit, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just like the character because he's such an interesting... There's so much you could do with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And quite a few other people seem to agree because he's popped up in some other things.
Really?
Well, there's an anime called Princess Tutu, which is based off Swan Lake.
Yes.
And is phenomenal. It's really a really good anime, and I really want us to touch on it eventually, and I know the perfect person to have as a guest host for that one.
Oh, okay.
But Drosselmeyer is, I guess you could kind of say a villain in it.
Really?
It's a little hard to explain.
No.
And it's been a while since I've seen it, so
Okay.
I'm not going to go much too into it.
Watch the anime or read the Wikipedia page.
Watch the anime, you'll do yourself a favor.
Okay.
It's a very good series. But I always liked the character of Drosselmeyer. And also, it's just a cool name.
Drosselmeyer.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good film. It's a nice little adaptation, and it's something to watch around Christmas, which doesn't get too preachy about the meaning of Christmas.
No, it doesn't actually.
Yeah, so...
It's a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale. And it's
set during Christmas.
Yeah, it's like how Gremlins is a horror movie set during Christmas.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, or...
The Nightmare
Krampus.
Before Christmas.
Yeah. Which I think technically takes place between Halloween and Christmas, but,
Yeah.
so it'd be a Thanksgiving film, but...
Well, I mean, it kind of gives Thanksgiving a skip.
Doesn't everyone nowadays?
Oh,
Seriously, a couple of days after Halloween, I'm already hearing Christmas music, and I already was hearing Christmas music, and it was ridiculous.
please, people, just wait after Thanksgiving. That's when I'm gonna put up my grandparents' Christmas tree.
Heck, even what was it? It was on Veterans Day. I was waiting for GameStop to open so I could pick up my pre-order of
Dishonored 2.
Dishonored 2.
Because you're a boss.
Oh, I love that game so much. And I got the collector's edition, limited edition one. I got the mask and everything. I was like, yeah. But I'm sitting there waiting for him to open, and Christmas music is playing on November 11th, folks.
Yikes.
And it's not even good Christmas music. It's this weird... I've never heard these songs, and I'm just like, what on earth is this?
Ugh.
I mean, like, I'm not a fan of Christmas music generally. My taste is very different than that. I just... keep it till December. December 1st, start playing it. Other than that, leave it alone. Let Halloween have Halloween. Let Thanksgiving have Thanksgiving. I know there's no Thanksgiving music that I'm aware of. I really can't think of any.
It escapes me too. It's like, what kind of songs do you play around Thanksgiving? The song of, the white man taking the Indians' lands?
Backstabbing?
Yeah, no. Play that as easier bit.
Yeah. But yes, that was the first episode of our Christmas month. We hope you've enjoyed it. And now, Will.
Yo.
Keeping with the theme of Christmas, merriment, and goodwill towards man.
Yes.
What do we have to look forward to in our next episode?
We are going to look forward to the greatest cartoon that represents Christmas, hands down. Green Lantern, the animated series.
Oh!
Featuring the voices of Josh Keaton, Kevin Michael Richardson, Jason Spizak, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that last name, and of course,
the amazing
Gray Delisle,
oh, yes.
who has since married and has now taken on a new last name.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Gray Griffin.
Gray Griffin. You know what? I like the name too.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, she's an amazing voice actress. She really is.
Please notice us, senpai.
Please. She's Azula. She's Catwoman. She's Vicky from.
Oh yeah.
From not Timmy Turner. Fairly Odd Parents. She's isn't she Frankie from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yes, she is.
She's the mother of Star Butterfly from
Star versus the Forces of Evil.
I love that show.
Yeah.
God, I love that show. I gotta catch up on the second season.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm a little bit behind on that one.
Anyway, folks, that's Animation Triad, the beginning of our December month.
Once again, I'm Stu.
And I'm Will. And of course, well, he's not here with us physically. Alex
He's with
is
us
here
in spirit.
But he's still not dead.
No, not yet.
Not yet? What?
Shh.
Okay.
And we wish you a Merry Christmas.